Hello and welcome to BBC News School Report with Katie
and Joseph.
Coming up in the programme today, what do our teachers think of parents being fined for their children skipping school?
Is our school a green school? We find out how our school contributes to UK recycling.
We investigate why learning a language is becoming increasingly important.
Doing something funny for money, we look at how much our teachers raise for comic relief.
But first, Twitter has reached its 7th birthday today with over 200 million users finding something to say with only 140 characters. Anna and Jess find out what schools are doing to stay webwise.
As Twitter celebrates its 7th birthday, we've been finding out about social networking and the effect on young people today, especially as more and more of us are feeling the negative impact on famous networking sites. Facebook had lots of users, but it does seem that since teenagers have caught on the trend of communicating via the internet, more and more problems are occurring. From cyberbullying to trolling, people are abusing these sites.
It gives youngsters the opportunity to say things that they wouldn't have the courage to say face to face, and they're not always kind things. It does present a lot of problems and they do need guidance.
Staying safe and being webwise when you're on the internet is vital, so here are our 5 tips. Number 1. Make sure your privacy settings are set to the highest possible mode. Number 2. Don't add anyone as a friend that you don't know. Number 3. Report any abusive comments to the site and your parents. Number 4. If you add pictures on the internet, be sure that you want them to be out in cyberspace forever. Number 5. Think carefully before you write anything on Facebook or Twitter or any other social networking site. For that matter, if you wouldn't say it to someone's face, then you do not write it.
Thank you for the tips. We will be sure to bear those in mind.
I've certainly learnt something there. Next up, do you ever skip school? Well, over 41,000 parents last year were fined for letting their children play truant. Finley goes out to find out what teachers think of this law-breaking matter.
Recent figures show a rising number of parents in England have been fined for allowing their children to skip school. Department for Education figures show over 40,000 fines issued for truancy in the last academic year, up from 32,000. More parents are facing prosecution for failing to pay their fines, with more than 6,300 taken to court in between 2011 and 2012. So we asked, what can be done about this growing problem?
I think it's very difficult to prove when a parent actually allows them to play truant, but those parents who let their children have time off school are affecting their education. It's nationally proven that anybody with an attendance of 90% or below will drop a grade at GCSE. So on the other hand, it's not like that, and it's just that parents are letting them play truant. Then we prosecute parents of non-attenders, and that's a £120 fine per parent. So if mum and dad live at home in the same house, they would both be fined £120. That's a lot of money to find.
Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Finley.
My parents won't be paying that fine. How much do you recycle at home? In recent years, recycling levels have increased by 26.5% in the UK over the past 12 years. We sent Josh, Michael and Finley to find out how the school has contributed to this.
The UK has had its biggest rise in the amount of waste that is recycled compared to the rest of Europe. This is according to a report from the European Environment Agency, which is in charge of monitoring environmental issues across the EU. The report shows that, although the UK has improved its rate of recycling, it is only just coming into the line with the rest of Europe. Our school has recently started a new recycling scheme, converting cans into cash for charity. What are we doing in school to recycle our rubbish?
We've been recycling paper for quite a while, but that was the only thing we were recycling. It was a bit disappointing really, especially when at home I recycle loads of things, so I wanted to make sure there's the cans that are available to be purchased at the refectory. They could easily be recycled, and then we've started the plastic bottles as well, so recycling cans and plastic bottles.
We as a school appear to be doing quite well with our recycling system. Who knows, perhaps in the near future we might be able to get the figure to 100%.
Thank you, boys. Joseph, do you recycle at home?
Yes, I always think it's important to do my bit. How are your language skills, Katie? So good?
Oui, très bien.
As the world becomes a smaller place, learning languages becomes increasingly important. Hannah, Chloe and our German exchange student Louisa find out more.
Bonjour, hello. As a nation, we are not brilliant at learning new languages. You might learn French or German in school, but that's all. The government has decided that this is not enough and more must be done.
Well, learning a different language doesn't only teach you a totally new skill, but it also teaches you a lot about your own language that you yourself speak, about the grammar structures and so on. And it's not just about words and being able to communicate, it's also about learning about other cultures, what they eat, what they wear, what they like and so on. But how nice is it if you go abroad and you can order some food or drink in that language? You know, it makes the people who live there appreciate it, and it's such a skill to have.
50% of secondary schools are now studying a language at GCSE, which is a higher increase than 2010, when only 38% of teenagers were learning a language. Here at St Aidan's, we take learning a language very seriously, with a yearly visit to Paris, French pen pals and an annual German exchange. In fact, our German exchange students are here at the moment.
Well, I love languages, especially English. It's my favorite subject at school, and yeah, I want to improve it. And I also want to get to know things about the culture here. There are lots of differences between England and Germany. For example, the food or the school, and I think it's very interesting. I like it here.
So as you can see, learning a language can be very rewarding. Ich bin Hannah und ich berichte for BBC School News Report.
Dankeschön, girls.
Last Friday we saw Comic Relief raise a record-breaking £75 million. Many people took part, and this is what St Aidan's pupils thought of the day.
What did you think of the teachers dressing up?
I feel like they tried really hard to raise money for Red Nose Day, like dressing up, and they raising money for what they actually believe.
Yeah, I think they did their bit to help Red Nose Day.
Yeah.
Did you buy cakes from the cake sale?
Yes, I did. I bought 2.
What were they like?
Very yummy.
Yeah, a really nice flavour.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what red nose did you choose?
I chose this one.
Yeah, me too.
Here are some pictures from St Aidan's Comic Relief Day. We interviewed Mr Ploughman to see what he thought of his day. Here with us now is Mr Ploughman. Thank you for joining us here today.
You're welcome.
On Friday, what did you dress up as?
I dressed up from a Harry Potter character called Mad-Eye Moody.
Wow. And was it fun dressing up for the day?
Yes, it was. It was fun. We had a lot of laughs around the school. The children loved it. When I was going to different classrooms, we raised lots of money that way with the collection. So yes, it was good.
And what red nose did you choose?
I didn't wear a red nose because it would have clashed with my red eye. But we had fun.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Did you enjoy wearing your red nose?
Yes, I loved wearing my red nose.
Moving on. After the inauguration of the new Pope last week, the new Archbishop of Canterbury is being enthroned today. Here is Charlotte and Anna with more.
Later today, 56-year-old Justin Welby will be enthroned as the new Archbishop of Canterbury. Bishop Welby will become the 105th Archbishop of Canterbury, but how is he any different from the 104 that have gone before him?
Well, Justin Welby wants to change lots of things, and it does seem that he may make changes.
I think he's a very progressive and very thoughtful, intelligent man. I don't think he's frightened of making big, important decisions. I think he's very intelligent. However, I don't know all the other people involved in the church, so I don't know if he is the right man, but he's certainly a good choice. Well, I think we're going to see the ordination of women bishops fairly soon, so hopefully women will have the same equality within the Church of England as men do, which is quite correct.
How well he will do as Archbishop remains to be seen. This is Charlotte reporting for BBC News School Report. Back to the studio.
Thank you, girls. Staying with religion, last week St Aidan's put on a performance of Godspell, their first musical production for over a decade. Anna found out more when she spoke to the casting crew.
Here at St Aidan's, we have recently finished performing our school production Godspell. This was about Jesus' teachings to the people of Jerusalem and parts of stories from the Bible.
It was brilliant. I've never had a lead role before in a musical, so it gave me a chance to express myself, and I feel like it built my confidence up. It would have been working with the cast. They were very talented, and I saw them blossom over the months that went on.
I like drama, so I thought sign up for it and see what it's all about. It was really fun. I made some new friends, and once it was all together, it was really good.
I did to put on a musical production now because we've been working for 4 years doing various things like the Shakespeare evenings and so on, and we knew that we were ready for a big production, and we got lots and lots of talented students here at St Aidan's, and we knew that we'd be able to pull it off with their help. What I can tell you is that the students who were involved were fantastic. There were some excellent performances, nobody let us down, everybody shone, and it was a real team effort.
Thank you, Anna. You were in the Godspell production, weren't you, Joseph?
Yes, I'm not just a pretty face. I played Mark, who was one of Jesus' disciples.
Are you a poet as well as an actor, Joseph?
No, but as it happens, today is World Poet Day, and a few weeks ago, poet Ash Dickinson came to St Aidan's to do a workshop with Year 8 classes. Chloe went to find out more.
Today is World Poetry Day. This day happens every year in March. We celebrate poems, and no, poetry isn't just old men waffling on about nature.
Poetry is the romantic words inside a card. It's the music you hear on the radio every day. Poetry is an imaginative way of expressing yourself.
Earlier this term, Year 8 were lucky enough to have a visit from poet Ash Dickinson for the whole day.
Oh, we should definitely care that it's World Poetry Day. Poetry is a fantastic way of everybody being able to express their emotions, their opinions on things. It's a different way of writing. Well, there's many reasons I organised for a poet to come into school. One of the reasons is it was an opportunity for Year 8s to be taught, in a sense, by somebody different from their English teacher. It was also an opportunity for them to have the freedom and the experience of writing their own poems, and indeed listening to a fantastic performance poet. The best way to get involved probably is to go online and see if there's some poetry competitions, because they're often advertised. As well as that, just keep writing. Write at home, have a notebook with you all the time. When you see something, write it down.
Poetry is certainly not dead, or boring, or past. It's something which deserves to be celebrated every year. So Joseph and Katie, happy World Poetry Day.
I remember that. What did you think of it, Katie?
I thought it was amazing. It's inspired me to write more poetry. Technology is moving on fast, and Anna and Jess look at what may be coming into your home soon.
A brand new trainer was revealed at Southwest Interactive Festival in Austin, Texas, that does exactly this. Google's Talking Stu is designed to speak to you about what you are doing. We hit the corridors of St Aidan's to find out what people thought of this new invention.
I might do, but not all the time, just occasionally.
As if talking trainers wasn't enough, there are rumours of a 360-degree television in the making. Imagine being able to look all around you and see your favourite show. Maybe even One Direction surrounding you. Perfect? Yes.
Well, to be honest with you, even as a kind of ICT teacher, I've only just got into having a flat screen telly. And even that's one of those quite fat ones. But to have a 360-degree telly, I think it's just a bit too faddy, too geeky.
Just when we might see these new technologies is yet to be confirmed, but wouldn't it be good to watch TV all around you, being told by your beloved shoes that you are amazing? I know I'd like it. What about in the studio?
I know what your trainer's saying to you. Your feet stink!
Thanks for that, Katie. And finally, here is Josh, Finley and Michael with the Sports Roundup.
Blackburn Rovers was left in chaos as Michael Appleton is latest sacking. It says everything about Blackburn's current predicament that Michael Appleton was sacked by a man he never knew, and without the knowledge of the club's managing director, Derek Shaw. During his 67 days at Ewood Park, Appleton did not exchange a single word with global advisor Chevy Singh. In the end, he was sacked by a letter, an abrupt and unexplained end to a turbulent and troubled tenure. British #1 tennis player Heather Watson has decided to continue with the tennis schedule less than 24 hours after stating she will take a break. Watson made the initial announcement on Tuesday after a first round defeat for the second tournament in a row, saying she felt burnt out. England batsman Kevin Peterson has been ruled out for 6 to 8 weeks with an injury to his right knee. The 32-year-old will miss England's final test against New Zealand, which starts on Thursday. He has also been withdrawn from the next month's Indian Premier League, where he was to play with the Delhi Daredevils. Liverpool managing director Ian Ayre says the club are certain striker Luis Suarez will remain at Anfield. The 26-year-old is reported to have said he would consider leaving the club if a team playing in the Champions League were interested in his services. But Ayre, asked whether he was 100% confident of keeping hold of the player, replied, "Yes, absolutely." Robbie Deans said he is aware of the tough challenges his Australian side will face when the British and the Irish Lions visit this summer. The coach believes England's win over New Zealand last year and Wales's Six Nations victory over Stuart Lancaster's side proves it will definitely be a stern test. "We have a great respect for what is coming," Deans told BBC Radio 5 Live.
This is BBC News School Report with Joseph and Katie.
Goodbye.